Here's Tom Trento.
Okay, peak of the world. What world? What a crazy world we are in. For those of you just tuning in, either watching on TrentoVision.tv or on the radio side, WNN 1470 at 3 minutes past 3 o'clock in Boca Raton. We're pretty organized around here on the Trento Vision show in terms of what we want to do. But I got to tell you, today's a bizarre day, and I have a sense of uneasiness about me. When you do this kind of work, when you deal with national security issues, when you work with some of the high quality people in the military and the intelligence community and law enforcement and academia and activism that we have an opportunity to work with, when you know what's going on, when you can see the picture clearly, when you can see exactly what's going on, yet the events of the day move in the direction that they ought not to, it's frustrating. It's Mark is back, climbing on the floor. Hi, Mark. Well, we'll bring you in a minute. But it's a sense of uneasiness in me right now. But I'm ultimately thankful, completely and wonderfully thankful for this megaphone that's right here. I know a lot of people experience the frustration that I'm feeling right now because I get phone calls from all over the world. I get emails, all of this, and few of them have the outlet that we are privileged, blessed, and honored to have this gigantic megaphone to speak to the world and everyone else that's watching, for sure. And it's days like this where there's a target-rich environment. There's so many anti-American, anti-Israeli, anti-common sense events taking place that you want to go to the top of a mountain and scream as loudly as you can. In fact, Invisible Mike, as we were preparing for this show a few minutes ago, said, what is going on with the world? Is everybody blind to seeing what's going on? Yeah, in a sense, that's possible. But we have a 3-hour show today from 3 o'clock East Coast time to 6 o'clock. We welcome our friends in California. Some of you are just waking up, getting into this swing of things with your coffee. We're your afternoon enjoyment for your head, your heart, your soul, and your feet, because we're an activism entity. And then going across the United States, over the pond to our friends in Europe and Israel. It's evening time where you are. And metaphorically, that makes a lot of sense that the sun is going down, particularly in Israel. Today's a day of infamy for the nation of Israel, for Jews worldwide. That entity, that body, that group of individuals, that group of nations, 193 at last count, though you're hard-pressed to call some of these rat trap countries nations, but they are. That group on First Avenue and 32nd, 33rd Street in Manhattan on the East River, that rectangular building there that's dedicated to maintaining and enhancing and constructing a world that is peaceful, is about to make a decision, fait accompli. The decision's done, okay? Is about to make a decision to recognize a terrorist entity as a legitimate state, thereby creating unbelievable, unimaginable problems, not just for Israel and Jewish people, but for you as an American and for the United States as a country. There is nothing good about the decision coming out of the United Nations today. Zero. Nothing whatsoever good about it. What's the decision? If you watched the show yesterday, we had our good friend Barry Shaw, national security analyst from the Tel Aviv area, Skyped in We were going to have Barry on for 1 hour. We had him on for 2 hours. It was that compelling as we walked through the events of today, and we walked through a little bit of the history of the organizing bodies on the terrorist side of the equation, the Palestinian. It's a Palestinian state, folks. However you want to nuance this never before organized entity as a state, Palestine, today will receive global recognition for being a state. Now, in terms of the nuanced process at the United Nations, that's that weird rectangular building on 1st Avenue and 32nd, 33rd Street in Manhattan, that, by the way, the United States pays about 25% of the budget for an entity, 193 nations that are committed to our destruction, a good portion of them. Certainly the OIC, 56 Islamic nations, the largest conglomerate of anti-American states at the United Nations, the OIC, Organization for Islamic Cooperation. The United States pays about 25% of the bill for these low-life scum people that we were there. The United West was there back in September. We were protesting Mahmoud Ahmadinejad in front of the Warwick Hotel with a bunch of Iranian expatriates who hate Ahmadinejad, hate the Ayatollahs, hate the existing regime, and felt that the Warwick Hotel should not in any way, shape, or form take the number one terrorist. Yes, he's a terrorist. And right now in Gaza, that little strip, 7 miles wide, 21 miles long on the western, central, and southwestern border of Israel. There was a war there, if you didn't notice, a week ago. In Gaza right now, the Gazans, the Palestinians, Hamas are erecting billboards thanking Iran for supplying the missiles that killed Jews. The billboards went up 2 days ago. They're going up today. Do you understand what I'm saying here? The Hamas, a terrorist organization, the Islamic Resistance Movement, designated terrorist organization by Hillary Clinton and the United States Department of State. They made the list, the Hamas did. They're terrorists, okay? They're terrorists by any way you look at it. You look to the left, you look to the right, you look up, you look down, you look sideways. However you want to look at the Hamas, they're terrorists. They managed to gain political control of 1.7 million people a few years back. Does that automatically change the essence of who they are? They're terrorists. They were shooting missiles into Israel, 13,000 over the past 8 or 9 years. And they increased their missile barrage recently, and they increased the quantitative and qualitative capability of their missile launching and attack with Fajr 5, F-A-J-R, Fajr 5 missiles. What's that? They're regular Katyusha rockets, about 6 feet, about 6 inches wide, filled with nails and bolts and dynamite and all types of things. They send it. If it hits a little school and kills little Jewish kids, Allah be praised. Well, through their contact with Iranians. But wait a minute, Tom Trento. The Hamas are a Sunni organization. They were created by the Muslim Brotherhood. Oh, the Muslim Brotherhood. Oh, yeah, the president, Mohammed Morsi, graduate of the University of Southern California, 1982, degree in mechanical engineering, PhD. Went on to be a professor at Northridge University in Los Angeles. Mohammed Morsi, yes, the president of Egypt, who just declared himself the pharaoh. Stay with me. I'm giving you the wild and wacky world of a part of Israel that has spilled over into the United States and Manhattan today. Okay, we're connecting all the dots. President Morsi, not only did he teach at Northridge University in the early 80s, a Muslim brother, but he actually worked for NASA and worked on the rocket engines for NASA. How nice was that, folks? Well, he declared himself on Thanksgiving Day, our Thanksgiving. Certainly wasn't a thankful day for the Jewish people over there in Israel. He declared himself Pharaoh for life, essentially. You know how it works in the Islamic world with democracy. One man, one vote, one time. That's what's happening in Egypt right now. And he is weathering the goofball little 25-year-old kids that really think Jeffersonian or American democracy is something that's possible in Egypt. Forget about that. It's not possible. In any event, the Muslim Brotherhood started the Hamas. The Hamas is erecting billboards as we speak, thanking their partner, their Shia Muslim. The Hatfields and the McCoys got together. The Sunni Hamas joined with the Shia Iranians. They slice each other's throats when they're not busy killing Jews or Christians or fighting Americans. Joined with Iran. Iran funneled missiles to them. They shot the missiles, killed some Jews, not enough according to them. And the billboards are going up today praising, and you can see the billboards. Their pictures of them are online. Thanking Iran for this missile technology, the fact that they can kill Jews more efficiently now. Why is this such a big point? Because in Manhattan, in our United States of America, a vote is going to take place momentarily that will recognize the Hamas as an independent state that is on par with any European state, any South American state, any Asian state. Now, there's a little games being played. The recognition of Palestine will be as a non-member observer. That's baloney. They're basically an honorary member of the United Nations. What this will do for Israel, what this will do to the United States, what this will mean in your life is what the subject of our show is this first hour, second hour, and third hour. This is serious, serious business, and we're going to lay it all out for you. And it's horrendous. It's bad for every freedom-loving person on the face of the earth. And it really graphically illustrates the level to which the United Nations and these nation states there, about 132 or 133 nations out of the 193 are going to vote for this. The United States obviously is not voting for it and can't stop it. This is not a veto situation where you can veto this this recognition. It's happening today, and the ramifications for Americans is immense. Hello, this is Tom Trento, your guest today on Trento Vision. Mike, we can go to a two-shot if you don't mind. Mike? Okay, yeah, and there's Mahmoud Abbas on the screen. As many of you know, we broadcast on the radio station, a 50,000-watt station, WNN, broadcasting out of Boca Raton, Florida. Great little place to be. It is 76 degrees inside our studio. We do not have, if you can see the shot, we do not have CJ with us today. She had some personal business to attend to and feels terrible not being here on such an infamous day, historic day. But we have a disembodied voice who has become embodied and returned back from his personal business. Say hello, Mark, to everybody.
Hello, Mark, to everybody.
Hello, Mark, to everybody.
I just wanted to accentuate your point here, Tom. Now, picture this. There's an organization out there who, let's say they write a constitution. Let's say they have a document which they sign, they ratify, and they bring up to go to the UN and says, hey, we're this new country, and here's our new charter. Here's what it is going to be. Now, we want you, UN, to vote on this, okay? One of our first pledges in our charter, Tom, is stating that Israel will exist and continue to exist until Islam will obliterate it. Okay? Point one.
Okay. Israel will exist. Okay, so this new fictitious
right.
state
Right.
has in its constitution
Right.
the fact that Israel will exist and it'll continue to exist till we destroy it.
Right.
Obliterate. Okay.
Okay.
right.
And here's
All
another.
right, I'm in the UN.
You're making a vote.
I got a vote. Okay.
You got a vote.
I'm
Okay,
going-
here you go. Okay, get ready. Get ready.
All right, we'll hit
Don't hit no too
Okay,
quick
okay,
because
okay.
there's some more
Okay,
more stuff
good,
because
good.
that's not too bad.
Okay, I'm
That's
with
not too bad because Israel.
A little hyperbole here and there.
All right. The day of judgment will not come until Muslims fight the Jews and kill them.
Muslims fighting Jews.
And we'll kill them.
That's a new concept. Kill them.
There
It's
is
new
a
concept.
Jew behind me. Come and kill him.
There's a Jew behind me. Come and kill them.
Okay.
Hang right there for a second. Mike, put something up so he can. Okay. All right.
All
I'm
right?
with you. I'm with you.
That's your,
right.
that's right in my Constitution.
Okay, all right,
This is not some words. I actually wrote it down, thought about it.
You publicized it,
publicized
people-
it
Okay.
all over the world. Everybody can see it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. In Article 8 of my Constitution, I say Allah is a target, the Prophet is the model, the Quran is the Constitution, jihad, not the warm fuzzy jihad, but they explain it later what jihad means.
Okay.
Violent
Jihad,
killing
okay.
jihad, not warm fuzzy in
Okay,
terms,
okay.
but violent kill jihad.
All right. I'm kind of hesitating on my vote. Go ahead.
Jihad is the path, and death, in the sake of Allah, is our loftiest wishes. So martyrdom is our loftiest wishes.
Okay.
You haven't made up your
I'm
mind
with
yet.
you.
You
I'm
haven't made
with
up your
you.
mind
I'm
yet,
with
have
you.
you?
No.
Because I still think we should have a yes vote here. I'm not real clear about that.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, just go with that.
All right,
for
we'll
right
just
now.
go with that.
Just go with that.
Well,
'Cause there's a lot more in this thing.
I would look at those principles, obliterating Jews, hiding and killing Jews, all this Jew hatred stuff, and I guess I would, if I hated Jews, I would push yes to make that fictitious entity a recognized entity, right? It's fictitious, isn't it?
No, it's not fictitious.
If I hated Jews, I would push the button that says, yes, let's recognize them and give them a whole host of privileges, rights, and opportunities to advance their cause. If I hated Jews. If I didn't hate Jews, I would vote no.
Oh.
Okay? France is voting yes today. Okay, let's figure that one out.
Even
So
though
our
this
fictitious little country obviously is Palestine, and I think we have to start calling this Palestine.
It is Palestine.
As much as
because the government up north in the West Bank
well,
region.
hold on to all that. Let me do a couple of things here because I want to get into those details. If you notice, you guys watching in television land out there, and for those on the radio, in our studio, and you can always see it. You can come in to Trento Vision after the show in the evening in our archive, trentovision.tv, and you can go check these shows out if you've listened to them while you're driving around. And we fly a couple of flags here, usually a couple of American flags, and then we put, particularly over the past week or two with all this Israeli stuff, we put an Israeli flag up there. And what we're going to do today is we have the center one, the main one, the United States of America. And then, Mark, you have an Israeli flag on your side. I'm going to put another one here. We're going to put two up today, okay? Let me see how this thing, yeah, that works like that, fine. We're putting two up today in recognition of at least Trento Vision standing with the state of Israel on this infamous day that has so many bad components to it. So many bad components to it. But if you want a good lawyer, if you ever need a good mouthpiece, folks, to help you meander through some of these difficulties in life, and a mouthpiece who understands the stuff Mark and I are speaking about today, then Peter Feynman, our good friend Peter Feynman, is the guy for you. We've spoken often about Peter Feynman, Feynman Law, F-E-A-M-A-N, FeynmanLaw.com. He represents the United West. He represents some of us in our personal stuff. He has gone to battle for us as an activist organization, and he's a 30-year Palm Beach attorney, business attorney, very successful attorney, great litigator. But that's not all. There's more. There's more. One of the more things is, from a political point of view, he was elected unanimously this year by voters in each county to be the committee man for the Republican Party. He's going to have a lot of work to do, for the Republican Party to represent the state of Florida in Washington, D.C. So if you need a lawyer who understands business, who understands politics, Peter Feynman's your guy. But wait, we're not done yet. Peter's also an author. He's written 2 books. The first one called Wake Up America a couple of years ago. And Wake Up America was a clarion call to America to wake up to the Islamic Jihad threat. And it's a great primer. It's a quick read. Wake Up America. You can go to that website, or you can go to his website, FeynmanLaw.com. And recently he wrote another book, The Coming Nightmare. The Coming Nightmare. What? The next nightmare. Oh, yeah, the next nightmare. The next nightmare. And the next nightmare is very simple. His thesis in that book. He basically says this whole thing of multiculturalism, where we have a new way of looking at the world, new way, sort of a United Nations way of looking at the world, where every culture is simply the same, and every culture should be viewed and treated and respected in the same manner. The concept of American exceptionalism goes out the window, and this multiculturalism, which he views as the next nightmare, we agree with that. This is his second book. The next nightmare will be fueled by this bizarre and unholy alliance of the hard left, the socialists in the United States, the Marxists, these folks. And if you don't think they exist, Invisible Mike and myself last year went undercover into the Midwestern Conference on Marxism at DePaul University in downtown Chicago. And we spent a day undercover videotaping and recording about 120 Marxists in, President Obama's lovely town of Chicago. Peter Feynman says the Marxists, the leftists, the socialists are getting together with the jihadi Muslims, and they're forming this new coalition that's dedicated to destroying the United States Constitution and ultimately overthrowing the institutions of the United States, thereby gaining control of the institutions, thereby paving the way for this new view of multicultural socialist Islam. Sounds bizarre, folks, but it's playing out on the grand stage right in front of us. So go to Peter Feynman if you need legal work. Feynman Law, F-E-A-M-A-N Law.
He's actually a brilliant orator and speaker, and one of those people that are just that you just
can do it all.
Yeah, right.
Peter can do it all. We had our next guest walk in. How you doing, Guido? Good to see you. You'll be on the second hour. We have Guido Valente just entered the studio, and we're going to deal with some of these issues with Mr. Valente and his book Treason Among Us, that goes along the lines of this administration's effort to do what they've been dreaming of. President Obama and all his Caesars, they have been dreaming for their Ivy League lifetime of being in a position to remake America, and these cats are doing it right in front of us, and they're going to use the financial tools, the financial systems, the SEC, Security Exchange Commission, and Vito will tell us a lot about that in the next hour. But this hour, Mark, I'm going nuts here.
Well, what really gets me is that these countries like Spain, France, and all these, they're siding with Hamas. And once again, going back to the Hamas charter, they're not just after Israel. And that's a big misnomer, is that the Hamas is strictly just concentrated on Israel. No, they have global objectives because they're in league with the Muslim Brotherhood, who created them and founded them.
Yep.
Like over in Egypt, they have a bigger and larger goal. In the Muslim Brotherhood, a.k.a. you might as well just call the Muslim Brotherhood Hamas. because they are into the same exact entity. And the Muslim Brotherhood Hamas in the Hamas charter states, this is when it really gets me. He says, I swear by the holder of Muhammad's soul that I would like to invade and be killed for the sake of Allah. Then invade and be killed, and then invade again and be killed again. Now, this doesn't say Israel.
Reincarnation. It's jihadi reincarnation.
The essence of these people is to kill and die, is to kill. That's the reason. I'm making a little correction on you. It's 20,000 rockets that have been launched since 9/11.
Yeah,
and they've
yeah,
but it's just it's an unrelenting force. It is not going to stop unless they are dealt with. And giving them land and giving them peace is, right in the eyes of the Sharia, the path to the watering hole. You must control the watering hole. You must control the path, so you must control the land. And that's what it's all about.
And if you want to get in on the conversation, we're talking today about the historic event, infamous event that is momentary. It's going to take place any minute now in New York City, not far from Ground Zero. The same people that on September 11th, 2001, same people that were cheering in the streets, dancing in the streets, shooting off fireworks, handing out sweets, which is an Arabic Islamic form of celebration. When the towers came down, those same people are being honored today by the world community in the town where they took down two buildings. A couple of miles away from Ground Zero is the United Nations building. The United Nations is honoring those who want to take down more buildings in the United States of America and obliterate, according to their constitution, the nation of Israel. That's what we're talking about today. So if you have anything to weigh in on, you want to get in on the conversation, give us a call. The number is 888. It's toll free, 888-565-1470. The numbers of the station,